History is rarely written in the present tense. It is almost always a retrospective exercise, a cleaning up of messy timelines to fit neat narratives. We are taught that World War II began on September 1st, 1939, when German tanks rolled into Poland. But ask the sailors on the USS Reuben James. They were torpedoed and sunk by a German U-boat in the freezing North Atlantic in October 1941. That was 2 months before Pearl Harbor. They were fighting and dying in a war their government hadn't even admitted was happening yet. I believe we are living through a similar moment right now. We aren't heading toward World War III. We are 10 years into it. To understand why, we have to go back to October 2016. I was a student at the Aegis Training Center in Dahlgren, Virginia, a windowless vault of tactical data and classified briefings. It was there that the abstract theory of great power competition turned into cold reality. We watched reports come in from the Red Sea. The USS Mason, an American destroyer, had been fired upon by cruise missiles launched from rebel-held territory in Yemen. To the civilian world, this was just another blip on the news scroll, another skirmish in the Middle East. But to us, in that classroom, the atmosphere shifted instantly. We knew what the public did not. This wasn't a terrorist taking a pot shot with a rusty RPG. This was a C-802 anti-ship cruise missile, a state-level weapon designed specifically to kill destroyers. For the first time in decades, the U.S. Navy was executing its highest-end mission, shooting down a cruise missile fired in anger. The Mason survived, but that moment marked the invisible crossing. It was the transition from the global war on terror to a new era of contested, state-enabled warfare. Just like the Spanish Civil War was a testing ground for Nazi tanks, Yemen became the testing ground for weapons designed to challenge American naval supremacy. Since that day in 2016, the trajectory has been vertical. I served on the USS Spruance from 2017 to 2021. Back then, the threat was constant, but sporadic. But look at where we are today. By 2024, reports suggest the Spruance engaged nearly 24 inbound threats in a single deployment. We moved from probing attacks to saturation volleys. This isn't harassment anymore. It is a tactic of annihilation that we have normalized over 8 years of grinding conflict. But missiles are just a loud signal. This war is primarily fought in the gray zone, the silent frequency. While the USS Mason was defending the physical perimeter in 2016, the United States suffered a catastrophic defeat on the digital front. The 2015 breach of the Office of Personnel Management was not a simple hack. It was an act of strategic espionage, equivalent to a pre-invasion reconnaissance flight. State actors stole the personal data of over 22 million people. Specifically, they targeted the SF-86 forms. These are the documents that contain the financial histories, foreign contacts, and polygraph results of U.S. security clearance holders. By stealing this, the adversary mapped the human terrain of the U.S. defense establishment. They didn't bomb our headquarters. They stole the blueprints of the people running it. Simultaneously, in late 2015 and 2016, The Sandworm team, attributed to Russian intelligence, shut down the power grid in Ukraine. This wasn't vandalism. It was a proof of concept. A message to the West that said, your lights, your banks, and your hospitals are legitimate targets in this new war. In previous world wars, economic warfare meant blockades and bombing factories. In this war, it means weaponized interdependence. Since 2016, we have seen the rapid acceleration of de-dollarization. Russia liquidated its US Treasury holdings. China developed its own cross-border payment system to bypass the West. These aren't economic reforms. These are nations sanction-proofing their economies for a total rupture. And then there are the chips. Restricting high-end semiconductors to China is the modern equivalent of the 1941 oil embargo on Japan. It is a strategy of technological strangulation. The global economy has already fractured. We are seeing the return of bloc economics, a classic precursor to total war. Skeptics will say we aren't at war because there has been no formal declaration, no draft, no rationing. But that relies on a 20th century definition of conflict. If you define war by sustained, state-on-state coercion across every domain, land, sea, air, space, and cyber, then the label World War III is no longer speculative. It is descriptive. We are now ending the mid-game. We are approaching February 2026, the expiration of the New START Treaty. For the first time since the 1970s, the world's two largest nuclear arsenals will be unconstrained by limits or inspections. The recent kinetic attacks in Venezuela, the jamming of GPS signals in the Baltic, the cyber probing of water treatment plants. These are all theaters of the same war. We are not waiting for the war to start. We are waiting for the veil to drop. Awareness is the ultimate defense. We must strip away the illusion of peace and face the world as it is, not as we wish it to be.